Hey guys, it's Heather here with Underwater Panther, and this thing is so bright. All right, so I'm gonna flash it in your face instead of mine. So I have some exciting news. I have done multiple collections of clothing, and so I am setting up my shop for apparel. I've got 4 different collections, and I will dive deeper into that when I am absolutely completed. So hopefully that will be completed in a day. I absolutely love the slogans. I love the Panthers. There's zip ups, there's hoodies, there's pants, hats, stickers, t-shirts, stuff like that. So I'm like insanely excited. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I am finally grinding on that and actually getting it done. So that's exciting. After I launch my apparel, I am going to get my books on Amazon so it's easier to purchase. Well, maybe not exactly easier, but I want physical copies. So it'd be nice to have little handheld journals for the books with journal prompts and stuff like that. So it just makes it so much more personal when you personally write in your own little journal. So, all right, so today's video is about integration, balancing the masculine and feminine within Aquarius or INTJ. Now, I've got 3 videos uploading currently on YouTube. It is absolutely taking forever. So I've got a lot of content that is still trying to upload, which is like seriously frustrating, but hey, at least I'm getting getting a bunch of content out. All right, so let me be real with you. Studying masculine and feminine energy is one thing. Living it, that's a whole different story. You can read books, memorize your cognitive functions, watch endless videos on polarity, but if your day-to-day life still looks like control on one side and collapse on the other, then nothing has actually changed. Aquarians are INTJs. This is especially your trap. You're the pattern seers, the strategists, the ones who can zoom out and see the whole system. You predict outcomes, you design solutions, you pride yourself on vision. But let me ask you this. What good is foresight if you can't embody it? What good is strategy if you don't live in your relationships, your work, and your own inner world? Integration is not about rejecting your masculine or drowning in your feminine. It's about weaving them together so they actually serve you. The masculine gives you clarity, structure, and protective boundaries. The feminine brings magnetism, softness, and connection. When they fight, you sabotage. When they align, you attract. And this isn't just fluffy talk. When you integrate, your partner feels safe and inspired instead of dismissed. Your coworkers follow your lead instead of resisting you. And inside, you feel grounded instead of guilty. So let's break this down. Relationships, career, and inner life. And I'll show you exactly what it looks like when Aquarians or INTJs stop being split in two and finally step into wholeness. So, why integration matters. First, let's talk about why this matters at all. When your masculine energy dominates unchecked, you become rigid, cold, and controlling. You use logic as a weapon and withdraw before anyone can hurt you. You punish yourself with impossible standards. When your feminine energy collapses unchecked, you manipulate, you sulk, and you guilt trip. You binge distractions. You wait for someone else to rescue you instead of moving yourself. And here's the kicker. Both are shadow, but make you hypocritical. You tell yourself you're independent, but secretly you're desperate for validation. You say you value honesty, but you hide your own needs. That gap between your words and your actions, that's the very hypocrisy that drives your credibility and keeps people from trusting you fully. But integration changes that. Integration transforms paranoia into foresight, punishment into structure, guilt into integrity, and avoidance into presence. Think of it like this. Your masculine builds the container. Your feminine fills it with life. Without both, the container is either empty or the water spills everywhere. I'm going to take a quick drink. Allergy season is insane. All right, so we're going to talk about relationships. Nowhere do you feel imbalance more than in love. Relationships are polarity. When your masculine is overactive, you can come across as cold or controlling. When your feminine collapses, you play small, manipulate, or shut down. Let's make this real. Imagine your partner comes to you and says, I feel hurt that you don't consider me. Toxic, masculine, INTJ, or Aquarius, you roll your eyes and say, that doesn't make sense. Here's the logical explanation. You just dismissed their reality. Integrated INTJ or Aquarius, you slow down and say, I hear you. That wasn't my intent, but I want to understand how you feel. Suddenly, they feel seen instead of erased. Another one, you feel unappreciated. Toxic feminine, you collapse into silence. You withdraw intimacy secretly, resenting them, and hope they'll magically figure it out. Integrated, you say, I felt unseen at dinner. Could we shift how we connect after work? One creates distance and the other creates intimacy. Third example, you want closeness. Toxic, you test them. You drop hints like if they loved me, they'd know I want affection. Integrated, you ask, could you hold me for a while? That would mean a lot. Directness is magnetic. Testing is toxic. Fourth example, your partner suggests change. Toxic masculinity, you slam the door. This is who I am, deal with it. Integrated, you hold boundaries but soften them. I usually need space in the evenings, but I'm willing to bend here because you matter. Strength with flexibility builds trust. Fifth example, you fear abandonment. Toxic feminine, you cling or you ghost first to protect yourself. Integrated, you admit the fear but stay. Part of me is scared you'll leave, but I choose to trust this connection. That level of honesty deepens the bond. Sixth example, conflict arises. Toxic masculine, you go into lecture mode explaining like you're a professor. Toxic feminine, you go cold and punish with silence. Integrated, you pause, mirror their feelings first, then problem solve. The fight becomes growth instead of disconnection. Seventh example, intimacy itself feels scary. Toxic, you avoid it. Integrated, you stay present, admit vulnerability. This feels a little scary, but I want to be close. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's power. Now, here's the strategy layer most Aquarians or INTJs miss. You don't chase love, you attract it. You don't beg for validation, you set standards and let others rise to meet them. Polarity is about energy. Your masculine provides safety, your feminine radiates value. When you embody both, you stop asking, will I be chosen? And start saying, I choose who matches me. That's magnetism. So now we're going to go into work and wealth. Work is the second battlefield. Here, your imbalance determines whether people want to follow you or avoid you. Picture this. You're in a team meeting. Someone suggests an idea. Toxic masculine. You cut them off. That won't work. Next, sure, you save time, but you killed morale. Integrated, you say, that's creative. Here's my concern. How can we adjust it? Now you keep efficiency and empower your team. Second example, you're overloaded with tasks. Toxic feminine, you mutter, fine, I'll do it all by myself. Then you resent everyone later. Integrated, you delegate. This project matters. I need you to own this piece. People respect clear asks. Third example, we have stress rises. Toxic masculine, you try to control every detail. Toxic feminine, you check out on social media, scrolling while deadlines pile up. Integrated, you trust your systems, set clear standards, and ground yourself with a short reset before acting. Fourth example, you want recognition. Toxic feminine, you wait silently hoping someone notices. Integrated, you confidently showcase your contribution. This strategy saved us 3 hours per week. You don't brag, you report impact. Fifth example, conflict with a coworker. Toxic masculine, you bulldoze. Toxic feminine, you gossip instead of addressing it. Integrated, you face it directly with fairness. This part isn't working for me. Let's find middle ground. Respect goes up. Sixth example, money. Toxic masculine, you hoard, obsess, and feel unsafe spending. Toxic feminine, you overspend to escape stress. Integrated, you budget, save, and invest in things that bring you joy and growth. Seventh example, goals. Toxic feminine, you daydream about success without acting. Toxic masculine, you drive yourself into burnout. Integrated, you take daily micro steps while enjoying the process. Here's the bigger wealth principle. Money is energy. It flows to standards, not desperation. When you combine masculine structure with feminine magnetism, you stop chasing opportunities. They start chasing you. That's why some people always get promoted, always land clients. They radiate integration. And then we have section 4, inner world. Finally, let's talk about the hardest battlefield. How you treat yourself when no one is watching. Aquarians or INTJs can be brutal with themselves. Toxic masculine inside, routines that feel like punishment. You miss one task and spiral into I failed. Toxic feminine inside, escapism. Netflix, endless scrolling, fantasy worlds, anything but facing reality. Integration changes your inner voice from an enemy into an ally. Let's walk through 7 examples. So example 1, you miss one thing on your to-do list. Toxic masculine, you tell yourself you're worthless. Integrated, I did 8 out of 10. That's progress. Number 2, stress builds. Toxic feminine, you binge scroll. Integrated, you take a grounding walk, breathe deeply, and reset. Example 3, vision planning. Toxic masculine, you obsess about the future, living 10 years ahead. Toxic feminine, you fantasize without action. Integrated, you dream and you savor today's cup of tea. Fourth example, emotional pain. Toxic feminine, you replay it on loop. Guilt spirals. Integrated, you journal. This hurts, but here's the value I'm living through. 5, routines. Toxic masculine, 10 rigid habits that suffocate you. Toxic feminine, no structure, pure chaos. Integrated, 2 or 3 flexible rituals that uplift you daily. Number 6 example, self-worth. Toxic masculine, you're only valuable if you produce. You tell yourself. Toxic feminine, you're only lovable if they accept you. You tell yourself. Integrated, I'm valuable because I exist, not because of output or approval. And example number 7, mistakes. Toxic masculine punishes. Toxic feminine collapses. Integrated, that was hard, but it taught me something. I'll use it. And here's the deeper archetypal truth as an Aquarian or INTJ. Your God functions are introverted intuition and extroverted feeling. You can crave freedom and acceptance. Out of balance, you chase freedom by controlling, and you chase acceptance by performing. Integration heals this. Freedom comes from inner trust. Acceptance comes from living authentically, not performing. This is where the hypocrisy ends. No more saying you want balance but living in extremes. No more preaching independence while secretly begging for validation. Integration aligns your words with your life. So in closing, here's what we've seen. In relationships, integration turns control and collapse into connection and polarity. At work, integration turns domination and resentment into leadership and wealth magnetism. Inside yourself, integration turns punishment and avoidance into support and presence. For Aquarians or INTJs, this is the leap from theory to embodiment. Masculine and feminine don't have to fight, they're meant to dance. When they do, you stop being the cold strategist or the guilty avoider. You become magnetic, visionary, and deeply connected. That's integration, and that's your path to power. So I'm certainly going to do a whole bunch of these integration videos. I really dove into the foundation of what the masculine and feminine is, so do check those out. And then I went into the patriarchy, how that affects our relationships through dating, engagement, and marriage, how that affects our parenting styles within the home, how that affects your work life, your money, and your lifestyle. So definitely check out that video. And then I went into a more spiritual, kind of like a esoteric. I combined alchemy and Native American principles. I'm kind of tying a whole bunch of history into these masculine and feminine videos because it's certainly important to understand where we've been and where we are and where we need to go. So each of these videos builds upon each other. So yeah, I probably have like 13 integration videos specifically for the Aquarian or INTJ, just so you can see how masculine and feminine plays out in your life through toxic means and then through integrated, healthier means, how you can correct the toxic masculine and toxic feminine. So anyways, I am going to do a few more videos tonight, hopefully finish up my clothing brand and certainly launch that here on YouTube and then get my books on Amazon. So I hope you like this video. Like and subscribe. Please feel free to comment your own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. And I will see you in the next video.